To tell us more about the movements of the week, nabtrade at nabtrade, we're joined by Gemma Dale on a regular Friday appearance. Gemma, great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Yeah, so it has been an interesting week, hasn't it? So what are you seeing? I noticed we've been talking pharma, of course. Quite a big move in pharma. Talk us about that.
So the one that we've been seeing is Creso Pharma, which is cannabis, right? So not anything related to vaccines. Might make you feel a little bit better in the meantime, but there's been...
wouldn't know, Gemma.
It's been big news. So it absolutely rocketed up. It's up 500%. It came off nearly 30% yesterday, and so a lot of investors took the opportunity to buy it. They love buying on weakness, no matter what the stock. So we've just seen this enormous amount of trading in it. Very, very small trade sizes, sort of around the $8,000 mark. So that tends to be our smaller traders or people just having a little specky bet on the side.
So this is a thematic that we've seen around the world, really. I mean, we go through these phases where pot stocks are hot, and are we in one of them right now, generally speaking?
So the US House of Reps has voted to decriminalize the use of cannabis. That's very big news. I mean, everyone understands that you've got to pass 2 houses of parliament. You don't just get one tick and you're good. But it is big news, and they've also got a significant contract in Canada, which is one of the biggest markets in the world now. So as a company, they're looking really positive in an area where the decriminalisation, it's a difficult word to say, seems to be becoming more prevalent across the world. And so people imagine each time that happens that more markets are going to open up, that it's going to become a sort of a wider story for more stocks. We've seen little rallies in different groups of these over time. So Creso is sort of very popular at the moment. It wasn't in our group a while ago. It was the Can group, for example, a little while back and so on. So there's always someone who's very popular, but they've got big news right now.
All right, okay. Also running hot at the moment, iron ore. Goodness, 8-year highs as far as the price there is concerned. And that is clearly been reflected in the stock prices for those associated companies, particularly Fortescue.
So Fortescue's a really big one for us. It's actually really interesting looking at the trading data. So Fortescue's the volumes are eye-watering, like they're absolutely enormous. Yesterday it was 3 times the volume of any other stock that we saw traded. It is a lot of really, really high value traders getting in and out of it, so they're very happy to move on those, even small price movements, but they're not small at the moment. So we're seeing really, really big trades in and out. A lot of our investors love it, so it's a very high conviction stock for us. We've got 3 high conviction stocks with Macquarie, CSL and Fortescue. Anyone who's held Fortescue for a while has done pretty nicely. So they've been trimming profits. They'll get back in on a bit of weakness, they'll take profits, they'll get back in. So there's a lot of movement with it. What was most surprising was the BHP was number 30, so way down the list really. Lots of other things in there. Rio wasn't there at all. So a lot of our traders are like, we're just enjoying it. We're not going to worry about taking profits at the moment. We'll just leave it to the side.
Interesting. Okay, I'm curious to get your thoughts on whether you think we'll see any buying of this dip in CSL, right?
So I would put money on seeing massive buying in CSL from our traders today. They love it. It's one of our top 3 high conviction stocks, as I said. It's only held by 10% of our investors, which is a tiny fraction when you consider that banks, for example, would be held by 80%.
Yes. That's what I always find fascinating.
Yeah, such a small group hold it, and those who have held it have often held it for a really long time. They were buying it at $15, $50. You know, they've done unbelievably well. They will sell it, so they were selling it really heavily at $304, $305. So they got out then earlier this week. When they see it at 291, they will be all over it like a cheap suit. They'll be loving it, and then we'll see that moving in and out if the price starts moving again.
Yeah, we'll see which
most of
direction
them
it goes.
Didn't really feel that the vaccine news was critical to the long-term success
No,
of
that's
the
interesting.
company.
Well, the company itself said that it's not.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Gaming, I don't think we've spoken to you about gaming stocks before.
When the market flattens out and investors are looking for small caps and more speculative opportunities, that might be somewhere that they go. So it is one of the themes they're keen on. It's not as popular as Buy Now Pay Later, for example, or something else that's been absolutely huge, but we see it pop up. So Emerge Gaming's been in there the last couple of days. It's fallen away over the last couple of months, so it's popped in a couple of times. It was there yesterday. It'll be interesting to see if it comes back.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on Appen, because that was a big story yesterday, big sell-off off of the disappointing outlook coming through. But when we got that news through, I put the question, I think people will buy this dip because that's usually what happens. Did it happen this time, or was there something in that company announcement that put people off?
Nope, 90% buy yesterday.
Yeah.
So your prediction was absolutely accurate. So Appen's been there on the watch list for a lot of our investors. They have maybe not held it because they were concerned about valuation. So when they see it come off so aggressively, they're like, do you know what, valuation to hell, I'm getting on this.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to buy it for quite a while, and this gives me an opportunity to get in at a better price. So we saw a 90% buy yesterday. It'll be interesting to see it's off a little bit more today, whether we see more buying. I wouldn't be surprised if we do.
All right, now aren't investors just loving an IPO at the moment? You look stateside, I guess it's IPO season, isn't it? But look, we saw Airbnb. I don't know if you've had the chance to catch up on the figures for that, and also obviously DoorDash too, which had a mega debut but came off a little.
Yeah, so Airbnb, I did want to grab it before I came for you guys. Massive listing. Massive number of buyers overnight. We saw one trade that was $250,000, which is
Really?
Yeah, it's quite unusual to see a retail investor in Australia throw that much money at one particular stock, particularly on the day that it lists. So huge amount of interest. We imagined it would be there. We saw it come through in the numbers. They've obviously done very well. They've had a very nice day. We'll be interested to see if any of them take profits when you could do that in a 24-hour period. It'll be interesting to see if we see any selling tonight or if we see more buying.
Wow.
I'll be surprised.
Interesting. Look, the dynamics are always interesting. I love these chats. Gemma, thank you so much. We look forward to next week.
My pleasure.
Gemma Dale there joining us from nabtrade.